Hi, it's Doodling Debbie again. Haven't made too many videos in a while, and so now I'm on a little bit of a roll. This video, I want to start showing some basics of doing some 3D designs, dimensional designs, like you see our little houses and boxes and stuff like that. Well, today I'm just going to do a simple little basket. So I made one of these in the past, and we're going to start out with this elliptical tool and draw an oval here. Then we're going to take our rectangular tool and draw it right about the center of this because we're going to make a watermelon shaped basket. Okay, now I'm going to select this and hold down the shift key, and I'm going to select my oval. I'm going to go over here to the modify tool, and I'm going to subtract. There we go. I have half of my watermelon. I'm going to make this a little larger, like that. Okay, now I'm going to control click and duplicate this for the center of my watermelon. And I'm going to resize it by just dragging those arrows in. I'm going to move it down here to see how it fits, and I can see I need to make more adjustments. So you can just drag your arrows, because this is going to be the center of our watermelon. And this will be a print and cut. Unless you want to make it in pieces, you can just leave this separately over to the side. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to make it a print and cut. Okay, so now I want to go in here and I want to fill this with the color red. About this red looks good. That looks like a watermelon red. Okay, and then I want to fill this one with a green. And since this is going to be a print and cut, I want to select this. I want to go right over here to the cut style window, this little icon, and select it. And I want to make that no cut. Okay, let's go back and take a look at this again. So there's our first side of our watermelon basket. Okay, now we'll make some little seeds. Grab that elliptical tool again. And I think seeds about this big. I'm going to give them a little point by double clicking and editing the point and stretching that up. Okay, and then we're going to fill this with the black. And we can go ahead and make the line color black for this. And we also want to go over here to our lines, because I'm going to go ahead and print selected lines for this one of this shape. And now we're going to go over to our replicate tool and go ahead and make some copies. So a row of 4, another row of 4, another row of 4. Okay, now that I've got these little seeds made, I'm going to start positioning them on here. And there went my dog barking at my husband coming in the door. Sorry about that. And we're going to make another. And just kind of move these over and move them around wherever you would like them. And we can go back in and tweak these up and turn them around a little bit and make them look more like a watermelon. Turn this and turn this one this way, and so on. And I may have made a few more, but this is just a demonstration. Now I'm going to slide this box out of the way because I'm going to go ahead and go in here and group these. I selected all of the little seeds and our watermelon, and I'm going to go ahead and group selected shapes. Check my cut style window and make sure that they're still not going to cut. Okay, now let's go back to our regular view. And we'll position that right about there. And I'm going to go ahead and group these. And we're going to make Control and click and make a copy of it. So that'll be the other side of our basket. And we can set this other side over to our little work area over here so we can continue. Okay, now something's going to have to hold these two pieces together. So grab your rectangular tool and let's draw a long rectangular shape. And remember, make it as long as you want because you can always trim it. But you want to make sure that it goes around your basket. And it's at least about 6.5 inches wide. So this gives us plenty of extra room. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab that little tool again. Going to make some tabs for the end of this. So we want to double click to edit. And let's spread it this way. And spread this one this way to make our series of tabs. Okay, then I'm going to start right over here to the corner. Select my shape, and we're going to go back to that replicate. And let's say a row of 4, another row of 4, and let's just keep on going down. And we'll just go ahead and duplicate one more to the right. And there's another way you can do this. We could select all these shapes and then align them. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's delete that one out. And we're going to take this one and use our arrow key, shoving it all the way down here to the end. There we go. We're right there to the end, just like the other one. Okay, now I'm going to select this roll by dragging my cursor over it. Then I'm going to go to my Align window, and I'm going to space horizontally. There we go. Now I want to group these together, and I'm going to replicate this by hitting duplicate below. Let's undo that. I want to mirror it below. So let's go mirror below. Use your arrow keys and just tap that arrow key on down till you get it right about where you want it. Okay, now I'm going to move this up out of the way because we're going to select all of this, and we're going to go down here to our weld button and click weld. Okay, now this is going to be the piece that holds the basket together, but I like to put a little perforated line in between these, so I'm just going to grab my line tool. I'm going to go just right below this. I'm going to hold down my shift key. And I'm going to click on that line, and I'm going to control click to make another copy of it and move that down there. Right about there should be good. Now I'm going to go into my line cut preference, and as you can see, this is still a no cut, but we want this to cut. So we're going to go cut edge, and then this line here we want to make perforate edge, and this line the same. Now to make sure these all stay together, we're going to select it all, go back over here and group it. Okay, let's go to our regular view again by clicking over here. So there we go. This is going to be what will wrap around the basket, and as you can see, this little area in here is the width of the basket. If you want to make it wider, a wider width, you can just drag it on down, stretch it on out a little bit. Remember, if you're using a cameo, you can do it all the way up to a 12 by 12. So I want my basket a little bit wider. And remember, when we put these together, these are going to fold inward. And then you're going to adhere your basket. As you curl this around it, you're going to adhere it to these little tabs. So then you'll have your basket. So now we can set this over to our from our workspace. So we can do our handle, which is basically about the same thing. You can go ahead and Oops, wrong one. Didn't grab my, we'll delete that. Grab our rectangular tool. Make a little, and I like this to be a little scallop, so I'm going to draw some circles. Remember, if you hold the shift key down, you can make perfect circles, but for this demonstration, it's not necessary. So I'll start here. We're going to go replicate tool again, and we're going to do a row of 4, and another row of 4, and another, and we're just going to keep on going until we get almost to the end. And so we're going to delete this last one out, delete that one, take this, use those arrow keys, shift it over down there towards the end again. Okay, select this whole row of circles. And now we're going to space them horizontally again, like we did with our tabs. Okay, now we can group these. Go to your replicate tool. We're going to mirror them below again. And if you just want to make sure they stay lined up, we can also use our alignment tool to make sure they're lined up, but this would be fine, just to use our little arrow keys. Okay, now we have those together. We're going to select all of these again by dragging our cursor around it. Go back to the bottom and hit that weld again. And let's see, let's fill it with this green color. So we're going to go back over, and just to make sure we get exactly the same green, say we forgot what color we used, there you go. So that's going to be our handle, except for I think I'm going to add some little tabs to the side here to glue them in with. Here we go. I'm going to control, click, put this over here. Okay, and to make sure they're aligned, we can do this. It's not really important, but we're going to go and hold this and shift. And then we're going to go back to that alignment. And I think we'll align them towards the top. Okay, we're going to go ahead and hold the shift key down, selecting all 3 of these shapes. And we're going to weld it together. So there is the basket. This is the basket, this part, and the part on our workboard. We have the piece that will hold the basket together. You can put some design in here if you want to. Okay, and one more thing I like to do. I'm going to slide this down here. Grab that rectangular tool again. And see, we know the width of the basket is probably, we said about 2 inches. So I'm going to go a little over 2. And this is going to go on the top part. So we also will want to put a little divider in here in between this. And we can do that by, I'll show you in just a moment. Let's get this done first. Okay, now we're going to take that line tool. And I'm going to hold the shift key down. And I'm going to go like that. And we're going to check our line cut window. Do this often because, as you can see, if I wouldn't have done this, this would have cut out in a perforated line. So we want to cut that. Here, I'll do it that way. And then we have our perforated line. Okay, now we can group this together. Okay, and then for a divider in the middle, so you can glue your little basket on, you can basically take the same shape, undo this, take the same shape, and then let's go ahead and ungroup it so I can show you. Okay, let's go back to our view window and control click right here. I'm going to go ahead and go back and group these and move this out of the way. Hold on, I'm going to delete that because we can use this piece I just moved over here. Put that at the top. There we go. We're going to control click this whole thing. because we still want it to fold in the middle to go in the center of the basket. So that's one of our pieces. So this is going to fold, and we want it to be, if it was sitting inside the basket, let's rotate this sideways. So as you can see, this would be a little long, obviously. So I'm just going to scale it down. So I get the center right there. And this is going to fold over and to each other to make it strong to hold that center. And then I'm going to grab that line tool because I want something to hold it, like flap over to glue to the lid. So I'm going to hold down my shift key and draw a line, make sure it's perforated. I'm going to control click to duplicate this, move it back down here, hold my shift key down. Oops, before I do that, I want to check my lines and to see they're cutting, so, and I want them to perforate right here. So we want to go perforate and perforate. Oops, nope, undo that. I picked the wrong thing. Let's get that little line right there. Perforate. Move this out of the way. And let's group those. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my window view. Oops, let's go back here. I just saw something and I left perforated and I don't want it. And that is our handle. So we want to go to cut. Okay, now let's go back to our window. And I'm going to zoom out so we can see all of our little pieces. And as you can see, some of them will fit, especially if we have to add the registration marks. On a 12 by 12, we could get more of this basket on there. If you can print 12 by 12. If you can't, then you have to keep it within letter size. So you'd have to just move these images over to the side, line them up. Let's go ahead and do a registration mark so we can see where we need to put those. So let's go show registration marks. And remember, you can bring down the size of the registration marks a little bit. I don't like to make them too small. So you scoot this down in that area, in that white area, to make sure that you can get your print and cut. And let's go and check our mat. Those are settings. The mat, we want the page to be letter and the mat to be 12 by 12 for this one. And if you need to, for this, you can always make this smaller to fit on your letter mat. You can rotate it. Or you can just cut out some green paper. Remember, you can make this whatever you want it. But I just wanted to show you some basics of designing and how to do something that's 3D. Okay, I hope you learned something from this and you have fun getting in there with your Silhouette Studio program, playing around and making all kinds of creative things. I'll see you on the Silhouette Plus forum. Thanks. Happy crafting and have a great day.